Good morning, everybody. We are going to sing a sweet little cheerful song by Michael Gott right here, right now. And if you'd like to stand, would you please do so? If you don't want to stand, you don't have to. Right here, right now, I'm gonna make a brand new start. Right here, right now, gonna make a change in my heart. Everything I need, I now receive. It's done unto me as I believe. Right here, right now, where I am. Right here, right now, I'm gonna make a brand new start. Right here, right now, gonna make a change in my heart. Everything I need, I now receive. It's done unto me as I believe. Right here, right now, where I am. Right here, right now, where I am. I feel like I need shave and a haircut, 2 bits. Come on, John.
You know, this is the 4th of July. There's all sorts of colors in this room because 4th of July could be any day. And I was just thinking on the way over here, this is not in the script, it's just I'm talking. This is, regardless of our persuasions, philosophical persuasions, when something big happens in this country, people step up. We are the most stepping up country ever. And all of us are part of that collective. And I think that needs recognition today. Okay, back to the script. On behalf of Reverend Donna Maurer and the Board of Trustees, I am privileged to welcome you to the Sonoran Desert Center for Spiritual Living. Whoever you are, and wherever you are on your spiritual path, you're truly welcome here. I mean, like, really. Here, you'll be validated, supported, and encouraged to be all that you're meant to be. Our vision statement is love in action, every day, in every way. We express this love by learning and living the principles of the science of mind. You will find our declaration of principles on the back of your program. Please join me now in reading them. I believe there is an infinite intelligence operating throughout the universe. I believe this intelligent power is only good. I believe this intelligence expresses as me. I believe through my conscious use of this power,
I create my life as happy,
healthy, and complete. And so it is. If this is your first time here, we especially welcome you, and we thank you for your interest and your curiosity. Do we have any first-time people? Well, hi. I'm really glad you're here. I would like to thank those who are assisting to make the morning possible, and that would be Bruce and Wanda and Gray. And John, are you on duty today? Oh, well. And Vicki, it's so lovely to see your face. And Reverend Donna. And Louise. And anybody that I forgot. That probably means we all have a hand in the morning. Okay. Please direct your attention to the announcements in your bulletin. If you're watching online, please visit cslaz.org for our announcements and events calendar. Please take a moment of silence to silence your phones and prepare for the celebration service. Thank you all.
The God in me beholds a God in you. Namaste. The God in me beholds a God in you. Namaste. All is beautiful, all is well. All is beautiful, all is well. The God in me beholds a God in you. Namaste. The God in me beholds a God in you. Namaste. All is beautiful, all is well. All is beautiful, all is well.
Good morning. My name is Louise, and I am your practitioner today. So if you would just take a deep breath and center yourself, that means closing your eyes, that's great, but just get centered. And breathe deeply and allow yourself to be centered. Here in the silence is that one God, that one power, that one presence in the universe. Feel, listen, and know that this one life is our life now. This one life is the source of all there is, all things, all living creatures, all of us. I know that it is the truth that sets us free, that releases us from appearances of what is. I know that the divine is within, and I accept that power and presence for each one of us here today. I trust that the powerful presence within each of us will do the work, and that we simply have to be open and accept the divine, that peace within us. And I know that we are each divinely appointed to be here today, to share in the joy of this beautiful day and this time together. I know that this service is divinely blessed, and that there are blessings for everyone here, and especially for Donna, who inspires and teaches us with her words. We anchor this by saying,
And so it is.
So I picked up a book earlier this week and started reading it. It's called Spiritual Fitness, How to Live in Truth and Trust. And I've lost my spot. And this particular reading is called Soul Level Thinking. Every time you concern yourself with who said or did what, with how you are going to react, you are stuck in earth-level thinking. This is based on your belief that you are merely an isolated, ego-driven being who must spend for yourself against an imagined hostile world. It is where you enter the loop of unproductive and obsessive thought patterns. With soul-level thinking, you stand back and break out of this loop. You become aware that you and everyone around you are eternal souls on a mutual journey of self-discovery. Like an artist stepping back to view your work in progress, you start to see the bigger picture and find a deeper meaning and relevance to everything. Your reactions are less knee-jerk, and you gain far greater control over your state of mind. Life is no longer a series of random joys and mishaps, but becomes instead an interactive training ground, constantly offering you the chance to understand and master yourself. The important thing to know about soul-level thinking is that the soul never makes mistakes. Only your mind and emotions can be mistaken. Your soul, the infinite, all-knowing part of you, can always see the highest purpose and perfection in every situation, and it is always guiding you to do the same. Therefore, the quickest and most powerful way to change your life is to directly access your soul-level thinking. As you strengthen and expand your inner awareness through soul-level thinking, you'll find the world around you falling all over itself to help you forward. You will realize that every day the universe is constantly offering you clues to your true nature and to your path ahead. So I light this candle just knowing that we are all bring our light to the world, and I appreciate that in everyone. And I also want to mention that the practitioners are the praying arm of the church. If you have a prayer request, there's cards over there, and just come over, fill them out. Or if you want to just tell us something good that happened, we like those too. Namaste.
Heard this song several years ago and always thought, so beautiful. And this is the time of year to play this song. If you know it, please sing with me. The song is called I Dreamed of Rain. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, soft and easy, sweet and clear. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, and peace spread over the land. I dreamed of summer and the winds changed, and the green was easy and the rivers ran clear. I dreamed of summer and the winds changed, and peace spread over the land. And the flowers bloom in the desert, and the air is fresh and clear. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, and peace spread over the land. I dreamed of freedom and the moon rose, and the way was easy and the path was clear. I dreamed of freedom and the moon rose, and peace spread over the land. And the guardian stars are shining, and the night is bright and clear. I dreamed of freedom and the moon rose, and peace spread over the land. I dreamed of heaven and the earth sang, and the sound was easy and the song was clear. I dreamed of heaven and the earth sang, and peace spread over the land. And the ancient pain is forgotten, and the Father's debts are clear. I dreamed of heaven and the earth sang, and peace spread over the land. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, and peace
such a pretty song. And I want to thank Vicki for being our... She's going to be covering the month of July. So yeah, she's family, so it's really, and it gives Heather a much needed break. She's not only our music director, but she's been doing so much with our media and everything. It's just unbelievable what this young woman does for us. So God bless her on her weeks off. We'll just see her really being renewed and reinvigorated. Good morning. Happy 4th. I got earrings from Amazon. so that's my 4th of July outfit today. I was really hoping that we could do like a barbecue or something. That was what I wanted so bad, but I just felt like we kind of weren't quite there yet. And better to err, especially with this new variant coming around, so that we should err on the side of caution. But I am here to claim that next year we're going to have one heck of a party. I chose for my theme this month Butterfly Moments. I found a website that was talking about it, and I really liked that. And then when I went back to look for it again, I couldn't find it anywhere. But I like the thought that butterfly moments are those moments when the ordinary, the mundane, steps in to the miraculous. And it might be just a fleeting thing. It might be just something that we experience. Just walking in, there was a little lizard that was hiding under the tree. It was hiding very much. It had no idea that I knew exactly where it was, you know. But just that little encounter, it's like there's something else going on besides an animal and me seeing it. There's some sort of connection that takes place. And to me, those are those butterfly moments. And one of the things that happens in those butterfly moments is that we begin to see connections. We begin to see how everything is connected. What Louise read this morning is so apropos for what we're doing today, because when we begin to see that this happens in we're watching a series on Netflix, and it's called, what's it called? Oh dear. Anyway, it's I've forgotten the name of it, but it's about a group of people who go on an airplane, who manifest, right? Obviously, you guys knows about. And what happens? They come back 5 years later, but they have the ability to see connections. They call them callings. And one thing is connected to another, and it's absolutely fascinating. I mean, it's kind of a cornball series, but I think it's kind of fascinating the way that they make everything have a connection. And I think we all have that all the time. It's just that we don't often, we're not tuned into it. You know, we're tuned into this material world. We're not tuned into the mystical, magical. And yet the mundane world can be very mystical and magical if we're connected to that part. There's a story told by a member of the Ojibwe tribe that the Great Spirit had trouble keeping the world together. So a little worm said that he could help. So knowing that the secret of life lived in everything, the Great Spirit welcomed the little worm's help. So the Great Spirit said, "Help me, little worm," and the little worm slowly spun its barely seeable silk, connecting all of creation with a delicate web. The Great Spirit smiled, and its smile cast a light across the earth, making the web of connection briefly visible. The Great Spirit marveled at the little worm's industrious gift, for the worm was not clever or brilliant, but simply devoted to being and doing what it was put here to do, to inch through the earth, spinning from its guts a fine thread that holds everything together. And so the Great Spirit said to the little worm, "You saved us, little worm, not by being great or bold, but by staying true to your own nature. I will let you live forever." The little worm was stunned and somewhat frightened. The Great Spirit saw this. "Don't you want to live forever?" The little worm inched closer. "Oh, Father, the earth is big enough to cross. I fear so many years if I can't grow." The Great Spirit smiled again at the wisdom of one of its smallest creatures. "Very well, little worm, I will let you grow into forever. I will give you the ability to spin this precious thread that connects everything around yourself. When you can enclose yourself within that web and quiet your urge to inch and squirm away, you will emerge after a time with the thinnest of wings, full of color. Then you will know the lightness of being that I know." The little worm bowed and began to search for a leaf on which to grow. And this is how the Great Spirit enabled the worm to spin a cocoon and from its quietude become a butterfly. So in his book, The Endless Practice, Becoming Who We Were Born to Be, Mark Nepo writes this: "At the heart of each spiritual tradition are questions. How to be in the world without losing what matters? And is living an awakened life of any use if we don't bring what matters to bear on the world?" And I think that's an important question to ask ourselves, how can I live in this world, this material world, and not lose those butterfly moments and not be a part of something greater at the same time? And if I am living that, then how can I bring that to the rest of the people? How can what I know to be true, this mystical, magical, beautiful world that we live in, how can I make that a part not only of my life, but of the lives of others as well? And the answer to both of those questions is deep connection. The way to live in this world without losing what matters is to have a deep connection with Spirit, with our inner self, with that part of us that senses that we are more than what we see ourselves to be. And the way we live an awakened life is that we bring that deep spiritual connection into every encounter, so that we're always connecting with what matters, with the way we see and walk in the world. And John and I drove to the top of Madeira Canyon on Friday. We don't even get out of the car. We just drive up and drive back. But it's a vacation. It's a vacation, But we always drive around the little campsite at Bog Springs. And this time there were a herd of about 6 or 7 deer. And so they watched us as we pulled to a stop. And as we were watching them, they got closer and closer and closer to us. And if I'd had something to feed them, they probably would have taken it out of my hand. I was trying to get them to take water. I didn't have any to put water in, but I had a water bowl. I thought, well, maybe if I pour the water out, they might come up to it and lick off of it. But they didn't get quite that close. But that moment, that was a butterfly moment. That was that moment of connection when it's more than just seeing an animal in the woods. Those animals became part of us, part of our experience of life. And I can come back and share it with you, and now you have that experience. So I think this is what we're talking about when we're talking about deep connection, about sharing what we have with the rest of the world. Well, since today honors the signing of our Declaration of Independence, and since we're talking about connections, I've chosen as our topic this morning, Declaration of Interdependence. Because today, as Mary Ann said, we honor our freedom and honor those who have made it possible. And yet we cannot be truly free unless we recognize our interrelatedness with everything and everyone else. We cannot truly have freedom from fear if we feel separated. So truly, it is through that deep connection that we live in the world cherishing what matters and bringing what matters into it. I talk a lot about Charles Eisenstein and his book, The More Beautiful World Our Hearts Know is Possible. And he says we're at an incredible turning point in our history, and I believe that. Because he says, and this is what I believe, that this world of separation, which is the world that we have been living in, that we are living on, is on the brink of change. And that we're moving ever so slowly towards a renaissance of oneness and unity, a return to the sacred. And he believes it is this shift in consciousness that will call forth a planetary healing and a new story of the people. He says, internally, it is nothing less than a transformation in the experience of being alive. Externally, it is nothing less than a transformation of humanity's role on planet Earth. So we're not there yet, according to Mr. Eisenstein, but we can feel the pangs. We can kind of feel the pangs of that new birth. He says each of us is aware of some of its threads. You know, for example, in the things that we call alternative or holistic or ecological, those are those things that move us into a different kind of thinking, a different kind of way of being on the planet. So here and there we see patterns and designs, emerging parts of the fabric. But he says that we're going to abide for a time in the space between stories. And that's another thing that I really kind of like about this whole idea, that we're kind of sitting between stories. And there's those of us that are a little more headed this way, and there's those of us that are a little more headed that way, you know. But I think you and I are on that cutting edge. I think we're leaning towards, I think we can see it a little more clearly than other people because it's what we teach. It's what we teach. And the stories he mentions are what he calls the story of the people. So the story of separation is leaving, and the story of interbeing is emerging. The story of interbeing he calls the world of the gift. And this gift, this story, offers an entirely different set of answers to the defining questions of life. And he has some of the principles of the new story of interbeing. So just listen to these and see if they don't sound a bit familiar. That my being partakes of your being and that of all beings. This goes beyond interdependency. Our very existence is relational. That therefore what we do to another, we do to ourselves. That each of us has a unique and necessary gift to give the world. And that the purpose of life is to express our gifts. That every act is significant and has an effect on the cosmos. That we are fundamentally unseparate from each other, from all beings, and from the universe. That every person we encounter and every experience we have mirrors something in ourselves. That humanity is meant to join fully the tribe of all life on earth, offering our uniquely human gifts toward the well-being and development of the whole. And that purpose, consciousness, and intelligence are innate properties of matter and the universe. Isn't this stuff we talk about? If you come to spiritual circles, you'll hear these things. If you come to Sunday services, you'll hear these things. If you take one of our classes, you will hear these things. This is what we've been teaching for a long time. And it's really kind of neat, I think, that the world is beginning to catch up. So I want to take a couple of these. His first principle, that my being partakes of your being and that of all beings. This goes beyond interdependency. Our very existence is relational, and what we do to another, we do to ourselves. This is the African concept of Ubuntu, which means, and I love this, it means in essence, I am because you are. And Archbishop Desmond Tutu describes Ubuntu like this. He says, "It is about the essence of being human, is the part of the gift that Africa will give the world. It embraces hospitality, caring about others, being able to go the extra mile for the sake of others. We believe that a person is a person through another person, that my humanity is caught up, bound up, inextricably with yours. When I dehumanize you, I inexorably dehumanize myself. The solitary human being is a contradiction in terms, and therefore you seek to work for the common good because your humanity comes into its own in belonging." And this connection isn't limited to our human interaction. You know, that's why you and I will catch our breath if we see an animal mistreated. You know, that's what I felt with the deer in Madera Canyon. You know, that's why we can watch a film of the coral reefs dying and feel like something inside of us is dying too. And that's also why we can waste a half hour watching baby animals on the internet. You know? These are all connections, and it's all more than just seeing something happen. It's a heart connection that doesn't have words to explain it, any more than we can explain the magic of a rainbow. It's reflected, it's much more than refracted light. Chief Seattle, in his 1854 speech to Governor George Stevens in response to the request to purchase the tribal lands, tells the governor, "This we know. The earth does not belong to man, man belongs to the earth. All things are connected, like the blood that unites us all. Man did not weave the web of life, he's merely a strand in it. Whatever he does to the web, he does to himself." And I'm so grateful to Vicki for suggesting that we use Namaste as our inspirational song today. The God in me greets the God in you. Isn't that easy? The God in me greets the God in you. There's only one of us here. We see ourselves then not as separate individuals, but as one spirit, uniquely expressing in these coverings we call our bodies. And I think if we are mindful of that connection, then our interactions take on a more sacred and loving tone. And so you and I are here to dispel the old story and start the new one. So the principles of the new story are associated with who we are and what we have to give. Mr. Eisenstein says each of us has a unique and necessary gift to give the world, and the purpose of life is to express our gifts. And some people struggle with this. They think that the gift that we give must be big and important. But what's important? Is it a gift of a large sum of money for a worthy cause? Is that any more important than holding the hand of someone in crisis? So in the story of separation, money holds the importance. In the new story of unity, the money and the held hand are equal. So our gift is the essence of who we are. And the reason that we struggle with it is because it's so much a part of us that we don't see it as a gift. You know, the little worm in the Ojibwe story, he just simply did what was naturally a part of him. And in giving the gift of his authentic self, he connected the world. That's what we do. Little teeny things connect the world. Susan and Loma providing dinners for those of us who are having trouble getting out. The gifts that connect the world. In The Road to Character, political news commentator David Brooks asks if we are living from our resume or our eulogy. In other words, are we focused on our accomplishments, on our outer successes, on our achievements, or do we focus on those inner qualities that are the essence of who we are and how we express that essence? And that's the question that we should be asking if we are struggling with what is my gift? What is my gift? I had a friend who was struggling that forever, called it his purpose. It was forever. What is my purpose? What is my purpose? I don't know my purpose. Maybe your purpose is just to get up in the morning. Maybe your purpose is just to see who stands in front of you today. We don't have to build the Empire State Building, you know. So we're looking in the wrong place if we're trying to find our gift through our resume. But if we look inside and say, what do I truly love? Then that gift will answer us. Because what we love is the gift that we bring. If we love to help others, we might be the one who brings a casserole to a shut-in. If we love interaction, you might be the one who plans a surprise party for a special person. If we have a desire to help children, our gift might be expressed as helping the Amado Youth Alliance. Ruth Bennett has said that she is making cakes for children in this homeless shelter, birthday cakes. And that she's made several of them, and she's had such fun doing it. So these kids get to celebrate a birthday even in a homeless shelter. What a gift. What a gift. So if we love nature, our gift might be the creation of a garden. Or it might be, as we see today and through the work of Bruce and Wanda, the photography of nature that allows us to touch places that we might not touch. And I'm really excited to hear what Barbara has to say. You know, this is all fun, but it's a way to share a gift that comes from your heart. So when we express those gifts freely without fear of judgment, just because this is what I feel like doing, then the world is made better for it. Another principle of Mr. Eisenstein's new story is that every person we encounter and every experience we have mirrors something in ourselves. And if we look real closely at that principle, we have a formula for living that really flies in the face of our present story. Because in this story, in the present story, we judge negative experiences. We judge experiences as good or bad. And perhaps the better way of viewing them is to ask, what is this person, this experience, showing me about myself? Because when we have an unpleasant encounter with someone, chances are we're looking at that experience through our own self-righteousness. How dare you? You know, how dare you treat me like that? How dare you say those things? You know? But that's separation thinking. You did this to me. But we can have the most incredible experience if we ask, what is it that is surfacing in me in this experience that needs to be healed? What button in me is being pushed by this encounter? You know, I had a friend a long time ago. He said, you know, you're not going to argue with me if I call you a chair, because you know you're not a chair. So there's no energy on that. But if I do something that triggers something in you, then you're going to come right back. So if you don't have the same response as being called a chair, then there's something in you that needs to be looked at in each one of us. And I just think that's a fun way of putting it. Because if we can do this with complete honesty, then the encounter becomes a gift. It becomes an Ubuntu experience. You know, because from the standpoint of science of mind, we believe that our thoughts, our beliefs, our attitudes draw to us those experiences that mirror our thoughts and beliefs. So if we see it out there, it's because we've got it in here. And if we give that serious attention, then we can begin to see that these unpleasant encounters have been given to us by our own consciousness. So we've invited them, guys, whether we want to believe that or not. We have. And that's beautiful, because here's the opportunity for healing. And we can see the same thing in the most wonderful experiences we have. You know, when we are touched by the actions of someone else or a beautiful encounter with nature, these are all part of that same connection. It's coming from consciousness too. You know, we have those negative experiences, but we also have the beautiful ones. So if we take just a few minutes to let these experiences become the gifts that they are, then not only are we healed, and not only are we the recipients of them, but we become their distributors as well. For love experienced is also love shared. And finally, Mr. Eisenstein's principle is that purpose, consciousness, and intelligence are innate properties of matter and the universe. And you know, this is where science is meeting spirituality, because everything that we're learning in quantum physics is telling us this, that there is only one consciousness, there's only one intelligence. Amit Goswami calls it quantum consciousness. We call it God consciousness. We call it the ground of being. And mystics from every age have understood this ground of being. They've understood this quantum consciousness as God consciousness. And this one consciousness, this one ground of being, expresses as you and as me. The God in me greets the God in you. Namaste. So we're beginning to prove that through science, that we are greater than what we've been told. We are not just a skin-encapsulated ego, a soul encased in flesh. But really, there's no place where you stop and I start, because we are each other and we are the world. So on this day, we celebrate our independence. Let's also celebrate our interdependence. And let's be the ones that create a new story, a story that connects us all, connects those butterfly moments. A story that says, I am because you are. Thank you. Namaste.
Listening to Donna talk, and reminds me of last night when my partner and I have a thing about the dishes. If I cook, he's supposed to do the dishes, which is something he hates. And because of this, sometimes after dinner I may say, are you going to do the dishes? Because he gets distracted and moves on, and I don't like to go to bed with dishes piled on the sink. And he says, of course I'm going to do the dishes. When you ask me, are you going to do the dishes, you're saying, do the dishes. And I think of triggers when I think of, like, I need to change how I say that. So this song, you're supposed to join me in this song. It's our congregational song. It was co-written by Heather and I, and it is about connection and working together and making the world better together. Will you take my can you love one another? Can you, can you, can you give with all your heart? Can you, can you, can you love one another? Knowing that by loving we can heal a wounded world. We're here to make things better for each and everyone. Our brighter day comes shining with the rising of the sun. Do you embrace all other beings? Do you accept them as they are? Do you embrace all other beings? Knowing there's a beauty in the difference in us all. Tag it. Knowing there's a beauty in the difference in us all.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you for singing.
I hadn't heard that. I just got the words. That's so cool. Thank you guys for doing that. Wow. Okay. So, are we recording this, Gray?
We are recording the vocal. Hopefully, Heather mentioned that she was going to leave instructions as far as a new thing about transferring the materials to her, but there was nothing here.
Okay. Okay. All right. So it's time for our offering, and this is a time where we can give back some of that beauty that we've experienced. And I invite you to join me in our offering affirmation. My gift goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless all that it touches. It is evidence of my conviction that God is the source and substance of my supply. I share generously of my good, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly, and so it is.
I am grateful, oh so grateful, for the blessings in my life. I am grateful, oh so grateful, for the blessings in disguise. Anybody grateful for anything? Yes, pray. I am grateful, oh so grateful, for the blessings in my life. I am grateful, oh so grateful, for the blessings in disguise. I am grateful, oh so grateful, for the blessings in my life. I am grateful, oh so grateful, for the blessings in disguise.
Thank you. Okay. So I thank you all for being here today. Thank you so much for spending some time on this beautiful 4th of July. And like I say, next year we'll celebrate big time. I want that so much. All the different holidays that we've kind of had to ignore. It'll be so great to have our Thanksgiving dinner together and all the different things that we do. I'm so looking forward to it. So let's take a moment to close out in prayer and just to bless this day and this week and this beautiful time in our lives. I know that there is one life. It is the life of God. It is a life that animates all things, including you and me. I give thanks for this divine intelligence that is in all things. It is the intelligence we use every time we choose a thought. We are choosing from that unlimited sea. I speak my word today for anyone who's experiencing any kind of a challenge. I speak a special word for Rosie as she continues on her path of healing. I speak my word for this planet as we are experiencing the different climate things that are all going on, from fires to hurricanes to flooding. And to know that each person is guided and protected. I speak a special word of comfort to those people that are the families of those who lived in the Surfside apartments. And know that our love is beyond space and time. And I know that I speak these words. Our love moves into the heart of each and every one of those people, those family members and survivors, and for those first responders. So I just give thanks that we are here together, that we have this spiritual community that allows us to love each other openly. I give thanks that life is good and very good, and we just anchor it by saying, and so it is. Thank you all so very much. And we're gonna circle up.
So let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are